about some individual players, unless there's specific subjects the Gooners on here want to speak about. But I wanted to speak about Kai Havertz to begin with.
Yeah.
He scored another match-winning goal that's kept Arsenal in the title race. I thought his overall performance yesterday was top-notch. And, of course, then all the videos come out of different creators that laughed at this transfer. And I don't know about everybody on this panel. I put my hands up. I thought it was a stinker of a signing for Arsenal. Most people criticised it. Do you feel, Dio, that Kai Havertz has now proven everybody wrong and he is a fully fledged Arsenal player now and for the future?
I think he is. I think he's proved people wrong. I was indifferent about the signing. I wouldn't say I didn't like it because I'd seen him at Bayern Leverkusen, and at Chelsea, I just kind of felt like there was something missing with him. And after the Granit Xhaka incident, where we saw what Arteta did with Granit Xhaka, I saw what he did with Raheem Sterling in Man City, Leroy Sané, and I was like, you know what? If this guy can turn Xhaka into the beast that he is, let's see what he does with Havertz. That was where I stood, and I'm glad that he's come good because, man, dude, he scored what is it, 13 goals, 6 assists already this season. He's bested his any Chelsea record he's had at Chelsea. He's looking more like the player from Bayern Leverkusen that Chelsea, wanted him to be. So I think he has proved people wrong. And of course, Arteta has got some bad signings he's made, but I've seen him transform players, and so for me, I just trust his judgment when he gets someone. I'm like, you know why you're getting him, you know what the reasons are, you know how you want to use him. I mean, I've had people tell me, "Oh, but you guys bought him to be a midfielder." I'm like, yeah, Bukayo Saka was a left back, so should we not translate him to a better position if we feel he's better there? So even if we bought him as a midfielder and we're using him as a center forward, it doesn't matter to me. Bottom line is Kai Havertz has shut everybody up. 65 million down the drain. Kai Havertz scores again. Samina, waka waka, So for all of the haters out there, that's it. Like
this club cannot win the league, man. Please, for the love of God, these Arsenal fans cannot.
This is why
you'd rather Man City win.
You see, Kai Havertz.
Hold on.
Kai Havertz tweeted that thing of like, the AI edit when it's on the stage.
Hold on.
There's a jarring set of fans, man.
Paddy, this club cannot win the league because I'm bigging up Kai Havertz for what he's done. And I'm singing about it.
No, because what you did after you picked them up. Stop acting like you don't know what you just did.
That's Havertz celebration. I didn't do something.
It's cringe, bro. James Charles, man.
Listen, when we were doing the suey all over the place when we signed Ronaldo, you guys couldn't stand it.
You guys,
look, Paddy, you support a team where wasn't this a celebration?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's because Tongan tried to hurt me. What is this, bro? You look more Mickey Mouse or
by
something.
the way, what is the celebration? What does it mean, by the way?
He's making fun of the people who mock him.
He's like, you mock me. Yeah, it's cool. I'm
That's the bad celebration. I'm not gonna lie.
Whatever,
no aura whatsoever.
Listen, everyone's got their own celebration, right?
It's trash. You gotta work on it.
Let me just say this.
Before you go, I don't care what people think about his celebration. The point is, people already crashed on this guy. No, hold on. People already crashed on this guy and said he's going to fail. He's a bad signing. He's not going to do well. He's going to be horrible for Arsenal. He's the reason why Arsenal is not going to be challenging for the title. Because Arteta keeps trying to shoehorn him into the Arsenal midfield. That's why Arsenal was not performing in the first half of the season. I can go on and 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 on about everything that everybody said about him. And at the end of the season, with 3-4 games to go, he's on a literally 19 GA. And everyone's like, okay, he's looking more like the player from Leverkusen that Chelsea signed and Chelsea wanted. More, so why shouldn't when I'm talking about him, big him up? Because he shut everybody up.
You definitely should big him up.
Hold on. My point is, so at 65 million, I don't think he's paid us back yet. I will not say he's paid us back, but I am glad that it did not fail because 1, it's good for Arteta. 2, it's good for Kai Havertz. 3, it's good for my club. There's less talk that people can come and say, oh, after all, your manager signed someone and it didn't work. So that is out the window. And if his celebration annoys you, I'm going to keep doing it because he's my boy and I rock with him.
I'm not going to lie. I have no idea what you're trying to make, like the point you're trying to make.
But
I really
look,
he talked so much and I don't know what we're taking out of this. Like, are you just saying you're happy that he's scoring?
I'm bigging up my no. He asked me how I feel about Kai, and I'm bigging up my boy. And the minute I celebrated, everyone said, "Oh, Dio, well, this is why we don't want you to win the trophy." I don't care.
Yeah, because it's jarring, but it's fair enough. You deserve to do that. It's okay. You're an Arsenal fan. You're allowed to do it.
Will, what was your take on the Kai Havertz situation?
Yeah, so I think, look, Kai Havertz, he's definitely performed well for Arsenal this season, but I still think that he was a waste of money. Because if Arsenal are to be at their best, which I think next season, you guys need a striker. So the fact that you brought up that Arsenal bought him to play in midfield when he's not good there, and he is good as a striker, and I know that he's, what you said, 13 goals, that's fantastic. But Arsenal still need to go into the summer market and get another striker. So if you want to be honest, you spent 65 million on a player that's going to sit on the bench if you go get an Ivan Toney or another proper number 9. So
what's wrong with that?
So you're let me just speak for a second.
What's
so your
wrong with
point on why we shouldn't got Kai Havertz is because we're gonna improve our squad next season and he's just gonna be still part of the squad.
No.
No,
I'm not saying that Arsenal should have not bought Kai Havertz, but what I'm saying is
let me bring it back. Let me bring it back 1 second.
Let me
bring it back 1 second. Has Kai Havertz not contributed to us winning games this season and being in the position we're in this season?
Yeah, sure.
So then how is he a waste of money?
Because I think that you guys overpaid for him. I just explained it.
You
guys overpaid
for him. You can make a signing and improve on them next season and improve the squad next season. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, bro.
So you have to realize
you can improve the squad and you can make a signing and then next season improve the squad and that player can still be part of the squad and be a big part of that squad. It doesn't mean it's a waste of a signing. Understand that when you're improving your team year in, year out, just because you have Riyad Mahrez or Bernardo Silva doesn't mean you don't go and sign another player for City. But Arsenal do it, all of a sudden it's a problem. Why is it an issue?
Not a problem. It's not a problem.
Your squad. I don't see an issue with that.
It's not a problem.
That's what you made it seem.
No, my problem with my Havertz is his price that he costs because for 4 years at Chelsea didn't do that much and they didn't really lose any money on him from selling to Arsenal. That's my issue, is that the money that you guys paid for him was too much. That's all. But
understand that the player's performance is what I'm talking about. You're talking about the money. There's players out here that cost way more than Kai Havertz that have been performing worse than him. For example, Enzo Fernandez. And you were just picking him up. For example, Enzo Fernandez, and you were just picking him up. So going back to price, why is it all of a sudden Enzo Fernandez better than Kevin De Bruyne? But when Kai Havertz is performing for his team week in, week out, his price tag is not good, even though it's way less than Enzo Fernandez.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? People just want to stick to their narrative. At the very beginning, it was 65 million is too much for Kai because he's not a good player. Then Kai starts to perform, but now they can't come to bring themselves to say, you know what? Maybe you guys saw something in him and that's why you paid what you thought his value was and where you're trying to take him to. Remember this, Kai Havertz is 24 years old, first and foremost. He's not a 27, 28, 29 going on 30.
He's having his best season.
Hold on. He's having his best season so far in England ever since he's come to England under Mikel Arteta at Arsenal. So if the price tag is what you don't like, but the player is performing, that begs the question, what about teams like City who have 100 million Grealish sitting on the bench? If we decide to upgrade our striker next year and have Kai Havertz, a 13 goals, 6 assists a season player on the bench, is that not a good thing to have? We have a Leandro Trossard coming off the bench to give us 10 goals and 5 assists. That's a good thing to have on the bench. If you want to challenge for trophies and you really want to be the best, that's how you build. And then another thing you have to realize is when we were buying players last season, we'd spent 105 on Declan Rice. We'd spent 30-something million already on Timber, Julian Timber. We had to stay within the FFP rules, and we thought, okay, well, what player do we want that is versatile enough, can play in midfield, can play center forward. We can use him. We know what we're going to do with him. And then next season, when we're going to get more players, we can get somebody better, and we can get people out. And that's how.
Let me get a say.
What's wrong with that?
Hold on, let me get a say on this.
Let me get a Steffi on this. Go on, Steffi.
Yeah, let me get a say on this. And I want to issue this question to Dio. But Dio, so understand this question in isolation, okay? Because I'm hearing what Will is saying. Next season, and don't talk to me about form. I'm gonna get to that in a bit. But just answer this question: yes or no. Next season, do you need a striker?
Yes.
Okay. Do you need another midfielder?
Yes.
Okay. So based on that alone, Will was saying the fact that you signed a player for 65 million, next season you're going to address the same issues again, means that signing in isolation is not a success. Because if he solved one of these issues, you could technically say, yes, he was a success. Now, if you want to talk about his form, I agree with you 100%. His form recently has been good. because ever since you start putting him in striker and he start delivering GA and you're winning goals, you can say that yes, now the signing is helping us. There's two sides of how you can look at this. He's looking at it in a way where, like, going to next season, these issues are still mainly not addressed.
Okay.
But if you want to talk about the form, because he's picking up the same time. Exactly. This is what I'm trying to say. Both. How is it ridiculous?
Let me explain.
Before you go, you pose the question to me.
Okay, go on. Wallahi, the exact same take that you just had. We can all agree that Cole Palmer is one of the best players this season. That's been a signing, but still Chelsea are going to need to strengthen their attack and they're going to need to strengthen their wing. So based on your point, Cole Palmer has been a waste of a signing because they still need to strengthen all the areas around them.
Wait, hold on, wait.
And back you go to us for a second. I get the logic you guys are coming with, but I don't think it's about Kai Havertz being a waste of money. I think it's about if Gabriel Jesus this season would have had a better campaign than last year on performances, availability, and goals. And if Fabio Vieira, as an example, would have gone to the level expected, obviously purchased from 2 years ago, and Kai Havertz delivered how he did, maybe Arsenal would be focusing elsewhere in the summer on where to improve. So I don't think what we're doing here is we're reducing what Arsenal need in the market down to should they have got Kai Havertz or not. Kai Havertz has been a success so far. I thought his first 3 or 4 months, he still looked like the Chelsea player who's really started to blossom and flourish. It's more about previous signings, and you look at like Zinchenko's another one who one good year and then he's fallen away. You start looking at those signings and go, well, they're more of an issue here. Fabio Vieira, more of an issue. Jesus, more of an issue than Kai Havertz. I don't think the Kai Havertz signing should be looked at as poor because he is delivering. And even if they go and get what's his name? Eucharist next season, and he starts number 9 and it scores double the amount of goals. I still think Kai Havertz will play a really important part of the team and squad. And we all know it's a squad game nowadays. So I don't necessarily, I get where you boys are coming from, but I think we're focusing on the wrong player. You've got to look at the ones who haven't delivered.
Can I also say something, right? So I hear you about the question you asked me, like, are we getting a striker next season? Yes, we need a striker next season. I totally agree we need a striker. And the issue this season was everybody said from the beginning of the season, Arsenal will not be in the running because they don't have a striker. Arsenal will not do this. And the coach found a way. He brought in players that he thought, you know what, if you can give me this, we are still the highest scoring team. We have 5 players with double-digit GA, right? We're still the highest scoring team. We found a way to put the ball in the back of the net, which is the aim of the game, right? That's the aim of the game. Whether or not you have a Haaland that gives you 50 goals or I have 5 players that give me 50 goals, the bottom line is we found a way to sort out the problem, which is the scoring the goals with Kai Havertz involved in it, with our front line. Remember this as well. This season, Martinelli has only scored 5 goals, dropping from 15 last season. Odegaard has I know, and Odegaard has dropped a lot. No, I get. See,
why is that, Dio? But
Martinelli, because Martinelli dropped in form. He's dropped in form. It's clear.
No. Why did Martinelli's role change in the team and then he lost to GA?
Martinelli's role changed in the team because we changed our whole left side. If you remember, this is what happened at the beginning of the season. We changed our whole left side. Jurriën Timber came in the first game, got injured. Hold on, we changed. Granit Xhaka was no longer there. He played with Granit Xhaka from last season. Last season, no more Granit Xhaka. We're trying to see if Kai Havertz could play in that role. Sometimes he played Leandro Trossard in that role. And because we changed our whole left side, it wasn't Zinchenko anymore with the usual people. It was a lot harder for Martinelli to perform at the beginning of the season. And then, of course, he had his 1 or 2 knocks in between the season. He went out for a few games, came back, confidence low. You can tell that he's going through a lot. Whatever it is, I know the boy will bounce back. He's young. He's got the skill in him. We've seen him do it before. I'm not going to single out one player and say, well, because Kai Havertz came is the reason why Martinelli was not performing. That is going to be utter nonsense. That means Martinelli is not even a professional if Kai Havertz throws you off your game. If one player comes into the team and because of that, you are unable to perform totally, you go from 15 goals a season to 2, then you yourself have a problem. So for me, it's all about how the team is set up. And I'm glad at what Arteta has done. He made the right choices.
Martinelli's GA got picked up by Havertz. That's what I'm trying to say. Because in the beginning of the season, when the Havertz signing was made, Terry, I don't know if you remember that. I said this on one of the top 6 shows with Jess. I said at the end of the season, even if Havertz gets that GA, he's not adding it to that current team, or I should say the team from last season. He's picking up that GA from somewhere else. And that's exactly what happened. Because Martinelli went from your top scorer in the league last season to now having 5 or 6 goals, where Havertz now picked up his goals. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. You made that signing. And yes, I think for the recent form that he's been in the clutch right now, if he ends up winning you the league, 100% is going to be a successful signing.
See, let me
just. I went and looked at the stats while that was being said. Now, I don't think it's about Kai Havertz taking goals off Martinelli. I think that's a fallacy.
100%.
I'll tell you why. I looked at the stats. So shots per 90 minutes last season versus this season, 1.7 per 90 minutes this season, 1.8 last year. Shooting accuracy, okay, excluding blocks, okay. This season, 55%. Last season, it was 58%. So he had a slightly better shooting accuracy. Shots per game the same. Accuracy slightly worse. Shots blocked is slightly more this year, but only by like 0.01. It's the conversion rate. The chance creation for Martinelli is the same this year. Dribbles complete is the same. Crossing accuracy is the same. Passing accuracy is the same by a couple of percent. It's the conversion rate. His conversion rate has gone from 27% to 16%. So the only way Kai Havertz has taken goals away from Martinelli is if this season in the Premier League, he was creating less and having less opportunities to score goals. But it's remained pretty much the same. Martinelli just hasn't performed well.
Is the areas he had to occupy when Havertz was playing in the midfield.
It's nonsense because he's had the same amount of...
The conversion rate, Terry, doesn't tell you what areas you're taking the shots
what about
from.
the under 12?
Where are you when you take...
Hang on a minute. Let's not nitpick. He's having the same amount of shots inside the box and outside the box as last year. Okay, you're right. Maybe this year the XG next to it isn't as high, but what has let Martinelli down this year, and we've all watched him play... He has not been good enough individually this year. It's why he's not starting in the team. You cannot blame that on Kai Havertz. That for me,
blaming it. I'm explaining the
that is blaming.
That is not blaming. I can't blame him.
Hang on, blaming it or putting it. Hang on a minute. Just stop everyone.
It's explaining it, not blaming it.
But it doesn't. Whether you just let me finish talking. Whether you're saying whether you don't like the word blame or not, or you're using the word explain, you're saying that Kai Havertz being in the team has taken away from Martinelli. My eye test says that isn't factual. Okay. When my eye test has seen Martinelli have so many chances to score this year and he's missed it, then you look at the stats. The opportunity he's had to score this year has been almost no different to last season. The only difference is he hasn't converted his chances. That has nothing to do with Kai Havertz unless Kai Havertz is standing in his way every time. Come on, I'm not going to use the word blame, might trigger Staffy. Let's stop using Kai Havertz as the reason as to why Martinelli hasn't individually performed. It's on Martinelli. Come on now.
Wait, so is the conversation now about Martinelli or are we still on Kai Havertz?
Well, I'll just mention that because the conversation was Kai Havertz and it went on but he's the reason that Martinelli's gone backwards. No, Martinelli's just not had a very good season. It's nothing to do with Kai Havertz for me.